Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and it's time for a moment of silence for Quibi. Look, I don't like to revel in people's failure. I really don't. And I feel bad because there's a lot of... popcorn is stale. That's what I get. There's a lot of people... I'm keeping this. There's a lot of people who are losing their jobs. I'm not happy for that. That's not cool, especially in this time right now. It's a lot of people are struggling. So that's not fun in the slightest. So I don't want to make light of that. However, Jeffrey Katzenberg, dude, this is on you. You made so many statements about this, about why it was failing and everything else. You delivered crap. You made a stupid service that was based off of millennial buzzwords, and they got 2 billion, guys. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Quibi, this is finally, I imagine, the last, unless somebody buys it and it gets even crazier, the last video on Quibi, because Quibi is shut down. They invested $2 billion in a service that was for mobile streaming. So it was like a little on the go, quick bites on the go. So, while you're on the train or walking to work, you could have your phone out and check out shows on Quibi because, that's a thing people thought was worth $2 billion. First, they were going after millennials. I guess the millennials, it was like millennials and travelers, like people work in between work who only have a few minutes because we need content nonstop. But what Jeffrey Katzenberg didn't realize is that's YouTube, that's podcasts, that's Twitter, TikTok, all the things that are already out there, social media. People are on Facebook just searching. Who's going to go to a dedicated... I'm going to go to... You know what? I'm not going to surf the crap on Facebook for the 5 minutes I have. I'm going to go log in to Quibi and then check out chapter 2 of the show I've been waiting for. It was idiotic from the start. It was absolutely idiotic from the start, and I've been documenting this for a while, showing how stupid Quibi was. And what really frustrated me was Katzenberg was blaming the Rona, saying, oh my gosh, that's not what we planned for. So let's break all this down. There's also some tea on this because I looked into this, and it looks like it might be true. They were actually skimming the unions by making the show shorter. So let's break all this down and what happened, because I want to make sure I give you a finale to my Quibi videos. So yes, $2 billion in startup capital from Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman is now officially shutting down. They held a video call with investors this afternoon to explain their decision and wind down the short-form video service after a little than 6 months. The meeting was followed by one with staff to share the news. The management team is exploring options to sell the content as 100 shows, or the entire service should a buyer emerge. Attempts to shop it thus far have not gained traction. So there's also an interview with Jeffrey Katzenberg I'm going to get to in a minute. But let me clarify, because he talks about this in his interview too. They're right now like doing these puff pieces, like trying to sell the service and the content. But here's the fact about Quibi, based off of other things I've read. It's all on a licensing deal. So they have the shows, but only for a couple years. And then those people can go sell those shows outright. So why would Hulu, Netflix, anybody buy these short form shows, the first part? They're probably going to want them like edited into a long form show. But even then they're going to have like 1 hour long episode. So I guess it's like kind of like a movie. Why would they do that? It makes no sense if they can just buy it, especially in 2 years, directly from the talent and productions involved. So the whole thing's stupid. And then who's going to buy Quibi, the service? They're out there trying to sell a failed service. I mean, I guess someone could repurpose the app and figure out a way to put their own programming in. I guess I'm like, hey, Popcorn Planet, I would take the Quibi app just to put my videos up and have an easier place to watch it, I guess. But even that's not worth it a lot. So, look, this is crazy. This is wild. I'm more frustrated at the waste. $2 billion. We're talking Walmart, Disney, big brands. Yeah, here's some of the backers. Disney, E1, Fox, Lionsgate, MGM, NBC, Sony, Viacom, Warner, all invested. And then this huge e-commerce one. I mean, my God. And then strategic partner investors from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, everybody, because Jeffrey Katzenberg was involved, who's done a lot of, let's be honest, he helped at Disney, then jumped ship to DreamWorks. Like, Jeffrey Katzenberg's no dummy. And so he's out there spouting millennial buzzwords and raised $2 billion from some of the biggest names. I mean, look, I know right now, I bet you a lot of those places are bummed they wasted it on this, but in success, they would have, it would have been huge. But the other interesting news is I heard Netflix subscribers are down for once. They might have reached their ceiling of like how many more people can actually subscribe to Netflix. And so the streaming bubbles it's an interesting place. We're gonna have a lot more on this of. Obviously, HBO Max, they're investing a ton, and now Paramount Plus is coming, and Disney's clearly making that their priority. But it's like, how much money is it at the end of the day? I don't know, but Quibi thought they could get in this game. Raising $2 billion was not enough. It was a failure. So here, let's get to Jeffrey Katzenberg's comments, because there he is with Meg Whitman commenting on this. So how does Quibi come to an end now? There's a wind down that'll take place for the next couple months. But there's every decision we want to make sure we make right by the employees. They talk about how they want to make sure the employees, they're great and they want to give them things. I do feel for the employees. It's a bummer they're stuck. It always sucks to lose your job. Even if you're working for a dumb thing like Quibi, it's no fun for them. And then, they want to wind down the business in a way which will be able to return the max amount of money to our investors. We want to maximize the return, and those numbers are going to be sizable, and we are going to return a lot of money to them. So I guess they had some money left over, and the basic decision was, did they want to keep spending it or give it back? And good for him. I think thanks to pundits like me and others out there, the pressure was on for them to not just keep wasting money, which they went on to talk about. We tried a lot of different things over the summer, whether it was payment-less, nothing worked. They realized they needed way more capital way too soon. We've looked at very clear-eyed at the data and what's the right thing to do. In order to get this to scale, we would have had to raise more capital, a lot more capital. We would need to be raising it in the first part of next year, and we don't think we would have the data and the metrics to support another capital raise at that point. So I will give them credit there. Good for them for cutting their losses and realizing, this is a sinking ship. For the past couple months, they've been trying to say otherwise, I think just to try and sell it, and now they realize no one's buying it because no one's that stupid. Ultimately, we would, a couple weeks ago, we said, the right thing to do, right thing to do is return cash to shareholders. And then, they talk about, what they tried, and then they get to this part I want to get to. Now, which we know, impacted by the Rona, will always be an unknown. And then how so? Well, everything about Quibi was designed to be on the go in between moments, at a moment in time which no one was on the go. In between moments, at a moment in time which no one was on the go, and their in-between moments were on the couch. And suddenly we were competing for people's attentions in a way that we never conceived or thought of. The excuse they keep making, which I'll break down again, was, no, this was for on the go. When you're driving, when you're walking, just, God forbid, we talk to each other or engage. I'm watching Quibi. That was the intent. And I still don't understand why they thought that was a $2 billion idea. We're going to make a streaming service, but it's not for your home or your couch. No, this is going to get all the biggest names, and it's only going to be for moments in between the important moments. Filler, because we need content injected to our veins 24/7. So what about that 9-minute ride to somewhere? That's what Quibi's for. Who was this for? I've seen people argue this too. Someone on Twitter was hitting me up like, oh, well, no, this was designed. No. Who is this for? That was worth $2 billion? That can compete with Netflix as the on-the-go programmers. YouTube has that set. You can decide how long you scroll through, and you got unlimited amounts of content. You can decide what you can fit. Trailers, whatever you want to watch. This was always stupid from the get-go. And those forget they've changed it. The beginning, when this was selling, it was all millennial buzzwords. Oh, it's for millennials and blah blah blah. I don't even want to say the buzzwords because they make my head spin. But anyway, that's why this was a failure, because there was no audience for this and the content sucked. So anyway, they keep blaming the Rona. To answer the rest of your question, over the past 3 weeks, we have aggressively looked at strategic partners, potential acquirers. Every one of those stones was turned. Every one of them, every possible avenue. That's how much of a failure this was. We went everywhere. We went to the dumpster. We asked the guy at the dumpster, hey, could you use a streaming service? And the guy's like, no. They went everywhere, guys. So, we love doing what we're doing. We are proud of the work our team is doing. We wanted to keep going, but there's no question that to keep going was going to have a different outcome. We spent a lot of whole money without any value to show for it. So out of respect, and this extraordinary amount of capital, facts, we felt we shouldn't do it. Yeah, because there was pressure seeing you've already wasted $2 billion, Katzenberg. And I wonder how much is actually left. they're sort of saving face here. Like, we're going to give money back to our investors. Yeah, here's $100,000 dispersed over our shareholders is probably what it is. We weren't pressured by anybody. It was the right thing to do. So the one other thing I wanted to get to here was the fact that they try to say what they're trying to sell. They also talked about, how a lot of people, like we are going to play Monday morning quarterback. And yeah, of course. But we made deliberate decisions. Here's the good news. We didn't do things without thinking about it. Oh, well, at least you thought about it. We thought about should we have a living room app and said, you know what? We're going to be mobile only because we really thought our user was 7 in the morning till 7 at night while you're on the go. So why would you need a living room app? God, why would you want to maybe be invested in your show and decide to watch on your big screen? So they were admitting their content wasn't good enough for television. It was literally digestible, crazy, just throw out content. That's what they're admitting. So in the beginning, we didn't have those features. Stupid. We launched, and then with a couple weeks, we had AirPlay and Chromecast, so that helped. But we did think about it. They just thought wrong, and so it was costly. And so now they're talking about the fact that they have the library. They have all these. We have 28 movies available at the moment in time, which there seem to be many platforms that are looking for content. So he's like out there basically saying that they have a lot of movies and content. But again, remember, not exclusive. They don't have the exclusive rights to this content. I think they just have the window for the next year to get it now. Maybe they have an exclusive window for them to have it in perpetuity. I would hope, but I think others will be able to buy it later, which will make the value of that programming way less. I'm sure they're going to wait for that contract to be up because then think about it. If that's the case, which I assume it is, again, I'm speculating a little bit. They own a license to the content for Quibi. And whatever they sell Quibi for, I guess they probably could sell the rights to their license for that time being. And then after 2 years, Chrissy Teigen, all those people involved, the Game of Thrones, Sophie Turner, she had a show. They could, in theory, sell to another distributor. Is what I'm how I read it. I was in the Hollywood Reporter, so I wouldn't buy it if I was anybody. I'd be like, nope, I'm good. And then I would buy it from Sophie Turner when the extension's up, because then you'll have the exclusive rights then versus buying an exclusive right, and then they're going to try and sell it in another year, and then it's like, well, what did I buy? Why did I need that? To me, that's a mistake. So I don't know what they're thinking there. But anyway, they might have 28 movies that are in 12-minute chapters, 10-minute chapters that someone seems worthy. But they're also going to try and buy the service, selling the service, which I'm shocked that they think they're going to be able to do. But then one last little dig he did to Disney. What are you going to do? What's next? Katzenberg goes, I'm going to Disneyland. No, he's not. Disneyland's closed, and I really think when he's ready, I'm ready. I'm going. He's like, he totally took a shot. Like, yeah, I'm going to Disneyland. Disneyland is closed. Disney World's open. Disneyland is closed. And Katzenberg and Disney, they're not still the same. So that was a nice little dig just to show Katzenberg's still a petty man. Yeah, I'm going to go to Disneyland. That's closed and losing all its money as well. See, I'm not the only failure, is what he did there. So clever, Katzenberg, but we see through that. Now, here's the other thing that's out there that's very fascinating. This comes from John Wick, who is John Wick. Luke Cunningham, who's a writer, apparently wrote for Fallon and HarperCollins. I tried to verify this, but it seems like he would know. He's a writer. And I called SAG and said, yeah, I couldn't get confirmation either way. But Quibi made their episodes 11 minutes to avoid paying union writers. Everybody should MC Hammer dance on their grave. By playing credits between each act, instead of commercials, Quibi claimed a 10-episode season was actually 40 low-budget, under 12-minute episodes, allowing them to skirt SAG, Actors Union, and WG, Writers Union minimums. They were a scab-based business model. Now, that's fascinating and probably actually true. Was that intentional from the start? No. However, could they realize, you know what, let's do that. If we're under the minimum, then we can say these are low-budget SAG premiums. Now, when I called SAG to the credit, they did say it's not just length of episode, it's budget. There are other factors that could deem a contract. However, this guy clearly is applying, and I don't think it's that far based to assume that could be correct, that they were just trying to figure out how to get the content as cheap as possible and scab union writers and actors on a premium service that they're saying is premium content. That was all over their website. That was premium. So how do we get premium content for cheaper? We won't pay them the minimums because, we're low budget because of our time constraints and we're on an app. Granted, they were low budget. They didn't make any money. but they had a lot of money. Chrissy Teigen, Reese Witherspoon, a lot of people got paid from that $2 billion that'll still get paid. It'd be nice if they gave the money back, but they won't. Who would ever do that? I mean, look, I guess they don't have to. They made a deal. They saw, hey, yeah, I'll sell my name to this stupid app. It's going to go away. I'll make a quick buck. I can't knock this talent, but how depressing that, especially right now in this day and age, $2 billion was raised by the richest companies for nothing. For nothing. Guys, this happens all the time. Look, I am glad and I applaud them for at least finally taking the loss and admitting it. But stop blaming the Rona. You developed an app that no one wanted to watch. Didn't matter what. If they didn't want to watch it at home when they're stuck at home with nothing to watch, when they were running out of content to watch and they still weren't checking out your app, that's a failure on you and your content. Not, this was for our moments on the go. If people are on the go, they're going to be busy. They're not going to waste time downloading an app and going back one week. People checked in and they didn't like the format. It was also like, oh, cool, 11 minutes. Awesome. Tune back next week for the next 11 minutes. What? No, I don't want that. I don't want to watch that. That's stupid. So look, this was a stupid thing from the beginning. Guys, if you like what you see here, why don't you consider subscribing to this channel? Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Like the video and leave a comment down below. Please, it helps the algorithm here on Popcorn Planet. How'd you like that new one? I'm going to start playing those more often. I meant to do it earlier, but I got it too late. But thanks so much for watching. Hit me up on social media. Goodbye, Quibi. I wish you well. I'm glad you're finally acknowledging why you were a failure. What do you guys think? Were you surprised by this? What do you think is the next app? What's the next streaming service to go? Which one do you think is going to either morph into something else or realize they can't sustain it at the budgets they're at? I want to hear your thoughts. Tell me down below. Keep that comments, engagement, all that going. Thank you so much for watching here on Popcorn Planet. Yeah, it's a new end card. What?